1953.
Now I'm recording. Go. Now start. July what?
July 12, 1953. What you want? Dear John, sorry not to have written much more sooner, but so much has been involved in getting settled that there has been little free time. To this date, Peggy has done my writing for us, that to her parents and several thank you notes. After 4 days of frantic searching, we finally found this apartment a week ago, last Tuesday in the evening. It was a last resort, but proved to be ideal, although naturally having some minor drawbacks. Bayonne in general is dirty and crowded, but there are certain nice sections, and this is in one of them. The neighborhood is predominantly Hebrew, but we are directly opposite Hudson Park and half a block from the bay, convenient to the Navy base. So advantages and disadvantages as to location and pretty well balanced. The landlady, Mrs. Zuckner, is away at present, so we have the run of things. She has the living and dining rooms all covered and protected with bed sheets and plastic bags, making them like a KKK meeting room. But we have a little path through it all to the TV. Never watch it anyway. In the back of the apartment are a bathroom, kitchen, and the bedroom where we live. It is clean and comfortable, and best of all, only $50 per month. That is unbelievable anywhere in the country, but especially in this area. It includes all utilities and use of the telephone. The bathroom is really deluxe with a tub and a shower stall, the latter like that in the Peter Arno cartoons in the New Yorker magazine. Glass door with separate sprays on the side to douche and tickle you all over. There is so much to tell you about. I had better skip along. You can all see the joint when you count to visit us. But please brush up on your Yiddish before coming, and be prepared to share certain of the intimacies of our neighbors' lives, as the buildings here are about 2 feet apart. PC for Peggy Carroll and I were constantly reminding each other to be quieter, lest those around us learn as much about us as we have about them. Our trip out was a lot of fun, but naturally a bit hurried. Ideally, I'm sure a wedding trip should not include a lot of driving, but we sandwiched in some enjoyable side ventures which made it seem much more honeymoonish. In Canada, we spent a day at Grand Bend, up the shore of Lake Huron. In New York, we made the beautiful drive through the Adirondacks, spending a night on Lake George. We arrived in Bayonne Saturday, June 27, whence commenced the house hunting. July 13. That's as far as I got yesterday after church, as we had plans to take in the Dodgers-Giants game in the afternoon. You may have read about it. 10 innings, 4-3 in favor of Brooklyn. A great game for us country cousins who'd never have seen a major league contest before. Servicemen in uniform. Get in free, as they do to many things around New York. Friday night, we got 2 complimentary tickets at the USO for Porgy and Bess at the Ziegfeld Theater. It was very good. After the baseball game Sunday, yesterday, we snooped around Greenwich Village, had dinner, and drove up the Hudson to the George Washington Bridge, coming home down the New Jersey side. One of the most amazing things you can imagine happening yesterday evening in the village. Walking along, we ran smack into the Reverend Sorensen of the Wayzata Community Church, biding his time until he was to meet some other ministers attending some sort of conference at Union Seminary with him. In their time of off, they were going to have some seafood in one of the spots. We were taken completely by surprise. It was certainly an unusual occurrence. Supply school is really very enjoyable as compared to my other experiences with the Navy. The atmosphere is very relaxed, and now that we have that little gold bar, most of the old disciplinary unpleasantries are gone. There is nothing inspiring about the material we are studying, but that is in large part due to all the fact that naval officers are lousy teachers. We have all been led to expect old duty for our friend assignment, and there is a steady flow of rumors as to what percentage way be lucky enough to receive shore billets, and generally as to what will be done with us. Graduation is September 18. They are constantly testing us, 2 already, another tomorrow. So far, I am keeping my head above water. By the way, Mrs. Carroll forwarded my final transcript from the University of Minnesota, and everything seems cleared for the master's my MA, which should be arriving sometime after the middle of July. Glad I did it. We received the wedding proof from the Carrolls and should be able to select a fine collection by which to remember the big event. They were a lot of fun to see, bringing it all back vividly. We regretted nothing more than that we were unable to return to Minneapolis after our honeymoon, if only briefly, in order to rehash it all with all of you who made it the wonderful occasion it was. Peggy and I have rather a one-sided impression of it all, as you can imagine, and really are anxious to get others' impressions of it. Who was there, what they said, how it all looked, all general impressions of the whole big period are what we sort of miss. For our part, it all was simply terrific. We really enjoyed the ceremony itself and, of course, all of the fun events leading up to it. The dinner Friday night was something we will always remember. The sincere names of everyone and the manner, the wonderful manner they talk about things, they said, made it the most meaningful occasion we have ever experienced. Well, their comments might goon indefinitely, and you can trust we would like to reminisce with you in person as soon as possible. J.R. : Between you and me alone, I can never express my gratitude for all you did adequately. I'm really very glad we were at the lodge together. The last week, despite those last somewhat hectic circumstances, from packing to beering and cigaring at Herb's to zipping all over town Friday, to my very relaxing morning Saturday with the Slocums at the lake, while you did so much, to those last free moments in Dr. Lowe's study just before the ceremony. I owe you all the thanks in the world. The stag was great, too. My bathrobe is beautiful, and the slippers from you are just what I needed. Again, there's too much to try and cover here. Above all, I can do in promise, is to do as much as you did in a few years for you. For the time being, my sincerest appreciation and love for everything. The packing you did of the car and my bags was great for the most part. I did discover your only trick, however, packing Dad's smoking jacket just so you could ship it out here and not have to bother with it in September. The Plymouth's holding up well, but I'm certainly disappointed in the service you get away from the original dealer. Guarantees notwithstanding. Oh yes, at the wedding, Mrs. Betty Cranston was very nice, wants to do anything she can. I was very impressed. If you ever have need, I'm sure she'd be very helpful. You speak with her. Did you speak with her? July 4th. We went out to Jones Beach. We have written in the Morrisons and will visit them either the coming weekend or that following, depending on when we can get down to Washington to see Uncle Metz and Aunt Peggy. And there are many other school friends in the New York City area. Please write as much as you can now that you have the address about camp, school plans, as they materialize. What's going on in Minneapolis when you get down there, the wedding, all about the wedding, etc. Please also say hello to the Gleasons and Drews. Must study a bit for that exam tomorrow. Keep things under control, old bean. Make good use of the chance the camp provides to store up some side money for school. Or does it? We called the Carrolls a week ago and said you had poison ivy and stomach troubles. Take care of yourself. Miss you a lot. All our love, Marsh.
So when did he call himself Ace and when did he call himself Marsh? What was the difference?
I just used to kid him.
To call him Ace?
Yeah. Yeah, I kissed it. I kidded him a long time. And he would oftentimes call me Junior.
JR.
But he used to say, "Hey, Junior, come on over here," you know, with the accent.
There was a while there he was significantly older than you.
Sorry?
I think for a while there he was significantly older than you, right? Like when you're
4
15 and 20, that's a big gap, you know?
Yeah.
That starts to go away, but in the beginning that's a big gap.
Yep. He was 4.5 years older than I. I was in May and he was in November.
November 16th, is that it? November 8th, what was it?
November 12th and May 22. I can even remember my mom and dad's birthdays.
What were they?
Yeah, June 26th for my mom and July 17th for my dad. I've never thought about it for many years. What he was talking about the camp is that when I graduated from Blake, I wanted to make some good money, and I mentioned last night to you, Matt Thompson spelled the right way.
Who's he?
The camp director that I somehow met. I can't remember how I met him. But it was yes, it was a guy who was one of the top executives in the YMCA in Minneapolis. And he introduced me to Matt Thompson, who was the Camp Ikagoan director. And I spent 10 weeks up there.
As a camp counselor?
They had, as a camp counselor, 2 weeks at a crack for kids who came up from the Twin Cities.
So how far up? Was it like around Brainerd or something like that?
Sorry?
The camp was around Brainerd or something like that?
No, it wasn't, strangely enough. I was surprised when they told me it was in Amory, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
As you go into Wisconsin, it's maybe about, I don't know, not very many miles in, but it's on a beautiful lake with a very nice island. And I won a bet with some guys, 2 guys that know the lifeguard and one of the other senior counselors. we swam. We had a swimming race from the campsite to an island that was. They said, I can't remember that it was for sure. I never remembered that it was a mile and a half away. But it was a big lake that the thing was on.
So you swim a mile and a half?
Well, that's what they said. That's what they said.
Holy shit! That's a good pull.
Yeah. So we yeah. It was being a camp counselor was really very nice because as I looked back on it when I was going to college after the 10 weeks, I was just going back.
So that was your senior year, after your senior year, before your freshman year.
Mm-hmm. And it was my senior summer, I would say. Let's say high school, the Blake School, summer school. But it had nothing to do with Blake when I was at the thing, because Blake was a very private group. Yeah.
So did you meet up with Matt Thompson after that first year, or did you just do that 1 year camp? Did you do it again?
I don't think I ever did, because from that time on, I was in Boston, for 4 years. Apart from going down to New York and staying with
Bill Rusher? Bill Rusher?
well, not with Bill. Bill would come up and see me sometimes, but I stayed a couple of times, several times, I would say, with my dad's best buddy in Scarsdale, New York, when we were living there, and for the rest of his life.
Is that Uncle Arch?
Uncle Arch, yeah.
Arch what? Archie what?
And so Arch Morrison
Morrison.
and his lovely little Florida sweetheart Janie.
Does Janie talk like that? She had a Southern Belle accent?
Oh yeah. She was really cute, really cute. Ooh.